Scuderia Ferrari continues to experience difficulties in the FIA Formula One World Championship, even under the current leadership of Team Principal Frédéric Vasseur. Ironically, while the historic Italian racing team from Maranello is still searching for consistency and success, many of those who have left the organization seem to be flourishing in their respective new roles across the paddock. A recent example is Laurent Mekies, who has taken advantage of the internal crisis at Red Bull Racing to ascend to a prominent position of leadership. The organizational upheaval within the team based in Milton Keynes has opened the door for Laurent Mekies to inherit a significant portion of the responsibilities previously held by Christian Horner. This is no minor commitment, as the British motorsport executive was not only the long-serving team principal of Red Bull Racing, but he also served as the chief executive officer overseeing all the advanced engineering and technological divisions associated with the Red Bull Formula One operation. Laurent Mekies, a French engineer with a broad international background, brings with him a remarkably diverse and well-rounded professional trajectory. Throughout his career, he has climbed through increasingly important managerial and technical roles, including a notable stint within the FIA, where he gained experience in race operations and sporting regulations. His extensive experience and credibility have effectively silenced much of the skepticism that accompanied his arrival at Scuderia Ferrari in the year 2018. The story of the engineer originally from Tours, France is not unique. It reflects a recurring pattern seen within the Formula One paddock. Many professionals who have either grown within or passed through the Ferrari organization have ultimately reached the peak of their careers in other teams or organizations. These are individuals who, despite their origins in Maranello, have gone on to find recognition and professional fulfillment in entirely different environments and cultures, which has unfortunately highlighted Ferrari's chronic leadership volatility and organizational instability. After Andrea Stella's promotion to team principal at McLaren Racing, Red Bull is now also under the guidance of a senior figure who previously spent time at Ferrari. In addition, the management of the ambitious Audi Formula One project, scheduled to enter the championship in the coming seasons, has been entrusted to Mattia Binotto. The Italian manager was shown the exit door at Ferrari after more than 30 years of loyal service to the Scuderia, where he had worked in various technical and management roles. Equally noteworthy is the case of Simone Resta, another former Ferrari engineer who at one time was responsible for overseeing the power unit customer programs, providing technical support to teams using Ferrari engines. Following his tenure at Maranello, Simone Resta was later recruited by Mercedes, where he currently serves as Deputy Technical Director, a crucial position within the technical hierarchy of the Brackley-based outfit. Going further back in time, one finds several high-profile technical professionals, such as Aldo Costa, who achieved their greatest triumphs only after leaving the Maranello-based team. Remaining within the elite category of global motorsport, we must also mention Stefano Domenicali, currently serving as the Chief Executive Officer of the Formula One Group, owned by Liberty Media. Stefano Domenicali was once team principal of Ferrari during the Fernando Alonso era, overseeing the Maranello team during several highly competitive seasons. It is important to clarify that this video does not intend to suggest that success is impossible to achieve while representing Ferrari. However, what remains evident is that one of the most persistent traits of the Scuderia's management over the years has been its lack of stability at the leadership level. This appears to stem, at least in part, from certain aspects of Italian professional and corporate culture, which often favors frequent reshuffling over long-term continuity. To illustrate the contrast, consider that during the same 20-year span in which Christian Horner has led Red Bull Racing with a steady hand, Ferrari has cycled through 6 different leaders at the helm of its Formula One sporting division. These individuals are Jean Todt, Stefano Domenicali, Marco Mattiacci, Maurizio Arrivabene, Mattia Binotto, and now Frédéric Vasseur. Such rapid succession of leaders has made it nearly impossible to establish a consistent sporting philosophy or a long-term technical direction, while the professional success of former Ferrari managers across the paddock raises a key question about the team's strategy in terms of organizational culture. 6 team principals in just over 2 decades. Despite this high turnover rate, even the current boss, Frédéric Vasseur, finds himself in a precarious position, with ongoing scrutiny and pressure from stakeholders and fans alike. Now let us consider a less obvious but very important aspect of such instability: Every new team principal brings with them a personal and unique management philosophy that often results in revisions of internal team roles, redistribution of responsibilities, and even structural reorganization of the technical departments and strategic command. Therefore, each managerial change creates a ripple effect that touches the entire organizational hierarchy, making it difficult for the team to settle and perform consistently over multiple seasons. Looking back, one could argue that what Ferrari has lacked at the highest level of its management in recent years is precisely that: patience and the ability to adopt a strategic vision with a long-term horizon. What the Maranello team has needed is an approach capable of constructing success methodically and without being driven by short-term panic or reactive decision-making. Even the seemingly unshakable reign of Christian Horner at Red Bull Racing has had its fair share of difficult moments. During the dominant era of Mercedes, Red Bull endured several winless seasons and suffered heavy defeats on the track. In some of those years, even Ferrari demonstrated superior performance, managing to outperform Red Bull on several occasions. Nevertheless, despite these setbacks, the team from Milton Keynes never resorted to drastic changes or internal revolutions. Instead, the management maintained its trust in Christian Horner, the man who had transformed a team that emerged from the remains of Jaguar Racing into one of the most successful organizations in the modern history of Formula One. Today, discussions continue within the Ferrari ecosystem about whether to confirm Frédéric Vasseur at the helm of the Formula One sporting division or once again revert to changing direction, perpetuating the cycle of instability that has cost the team dearly in terms of results. For many fans, especially those who dream of seeing Christian Horner one day dressed in red and leading Ferrari, the idea of extending Fred Vasseur's mandate might be hard to accept. There is a school of thought within motorsport management that says when a top-level figure becomes available on the market, they must be signed immediately, without hesitation and without conditions. This concept applies equally to team principals and drivers. For example, discussions continue around the possibility of Max Verstappen joining Mercedes, even though George Russell is performing at a high level and has not shown any signs of underperforming. At this point, all that remains is to wait and observe whether Scuderia Ferrari will decide to place its trust once again in the French manager Frédéric Vasseur, or whether the legendary team will fall back into another cycle of managerial changes and strategic resets, continuing the unproductive pattern that has characterized its leadership approach in recent decades. At a time when stability may be the most valuable commodity of all for returning to championship-winning form, only time will reveal whether Ferrari can finally find the consistency it needs to return to the top of Formula One. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether stability can finally take root within the walls of Maranello.